Hey, good morning, Sean. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I apologize for being a little bit late, and I'm sure you've explained that ad nauseum. So
Yeah.
you tell me when you'd like me to get started, or how you'd like to kick this off, and I'm ready to go.
You bet. No problem. I'll get it started here. So I appreciate you joining us, Sean. I know you have a busy day that you've been already presenting today. So we're excited to have everybody on board for today's call to learn how to double your income in the next year. This is just the beginning of a series of webinars that we're going to be doing with you, Sean. So we really appreciate your time. And I know everybody's excited to be on the call. Have about 100 attendees on the call today. So
Awesome.
we have lots of folks listening in, and to all of those out there, I just want to thank you for your business with Premier over the last number of years that you've worked with us, and we look forward to helping you grow your business and double your income over the next year. And without further ado, I want to introduce Sean Ruggiero. He's the Chief Sales Officer of Brokers International, Managing Partner at Integrity Marketing Group, and also an investment advisor representative. And he's also a great friend of mine. So we're always happy to have Sean join us and share his wisdom and a lot of his individual techniques and ideas on how to grow your business. So I'll turn it over to you, Sean. Thank you.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate you. Good to see you again, and I'll jump right into it so we can get right back onto schedule. So we're going to talk about what Premier has set up. Now, it has existed now for a year, and kudos to you, right? Because Brad, we pointed this out on the last partner meeting. Premier was they were the top 5 of over 200 integrity partners, top 5 of year-to-year in annuity growth, right? So fantastic accomplishment. And some of you are aware, some of you are not aware, but they have set up, in conjunction in partnership with Brokers International, they have set up a life and annuity resource center that I'm going to go ahead and dive into. Now, we have previous recordings of the annuity side of it, but the life side is new. But before we dive into any of those, before you rewatch some videos, or before you follow my next 3 videos here that we're going to be doing on a regular basis in the next week, the next 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to finish all of them. You need to understand why. Right now, I know a lot of you signed up for this. You said how to double your income. Well, hey, part of that's marketing. We want people to get excited and be attending, and it's working. We've got 100 people, and I'm sure a lot of people will watch the recording too. What I want you to know is this is not a fallacy, right? This is not hyperbole. We really can show you how to double your income. Now, a little bit about myself. I don't like talking about myself, but my wife says I need to grow up. And it is important that we understand, okay, who's talking to you? And there's some reasons for this, and I'll point those out. So I do have 4 or 5 designations, 4 of them listed here. I am a managing partner. I sold 3 companies, Fan First Life, GPlex Financial, and Zeddy Software to Integrity Marketing Group back in 2019. In 2015, I was voted as one of the 20 most creative people in insurance because of my deployment of my software company. As Brad said, I am an investment advisor representative, so I have a fiduciary responsibility. I'm a securities agent. A lot of people aren't. And I use that to gain confidence for you. I want you to have confidence that what I'm talking to you about, if I'm saying, hey, I have a fiduciary responsibility by law, I have to, it's in the best interest of the client. If I'm saying these are sound fundamental financial principles and financial tools, then you should have confidence with them. I'm also the founder of my own RIA, Ruggiero Wealth Management. I'm the founder of SafeMoneySmart.org, a true nonprofit, a 501c3 that was set up to present to the general public free information on how to, let's call alternatives to risk in retirement. I'm the author of the book, 7 Benefits of FIAs for Retirement. So if someone says, hey, I wrote the book on it, I literally did. And then I'm the Chief Sales Officer at Brokers International. So that's who's talking to you today. A little bit about this: myself, Premier, Integrity, and all of its affiliates do not provide tax, legal, or accounting advice. This material has been prepared for informational purposes only and is not intended to provide and should not be relied on for tax, legal, or accounting advice. So you, your clients, whomever you engage with, should always consult their own tax, legal, and accounting advisors before engaging in any transaction. I know that gets a little bit silly to repeat all the time, but it is important. And if you're giving any of these presentations, you should consider doing the same thing. So double your income. Come on, Sean. Really? Right? Brad, you probably got a few people that were saying, how do we do that? That seems a little bit outrageous. I'm going to show you how. And I'm going to explain this to you. It's important you understand that, yes, you can absolutely double your income. And you can do it with the same license. You don't need to buy new leads. There's not some sort of caveat or, oh, by the way, or aha to this. And the same clients you already service, because many of you are Medicare focused, Premier is going to show you how to double your income. We're going to walk you through that. We need to understand this. How do we best optimize and maximize our license? See, if we have a license, what is it? An insurance license, a health life insurance license? Then what are we doing to maximize it? Well, let me start by contrasting for you a couple of different occupations. Brad, if I said to you, what does a sixth grade English teacher do? Right? And my cousin is marrying a sixth grade English teacher in November. It's kind of funny because I use that analogy. And when she told me what she did, I said, you teach English to sixth graders, or you teach English at a sixth grade level, which is probably about the level I'm at, right? And that's true. Well, okay, let's go with a little bit more difficult one. What does a diesel mechanic do? Right? In Nebraska, Brad, I'm sure there's lots of diesels running up and down that flat state. A diesel mechanic, and I don't even know how diesel engines work. Someone told me once they don't use spark plugs, so I repeat that like I know what I'm saying. But a diesel mechanic works, repairs, builds, services diesel engines. So even though it's all wizardry to me, I know what a diesel mechanic does. But Brad, what does an insurance agent do? See, that's where we get siloed. That's where we get tunnel vision. There's insurance agents. Some of them might be on this call. I know many of them are integrity partners. There's many of them that focus on the life insurance side. Well, life insurance is what? Life insurance is a protection that protects your human capital. Your human capital is your ability to do, learn, or earn, right? Our ability to do, learn, and earn. Brad, when I was 20, 22, 25, I didn't have any money. Like if there's broke, what's below that? Dead broke? That was me. Okay, so I was dead broke. But I had a tremendous runway. I had a tremendous ability to do, learn, and earn. My human capital is worth something. But what about my wife and my young kid? I have 4 kids now, but what about my wife and first 2 kids that were what we had when we were younger? What happened if I died? What protects that human capital? What gives a tax-free cash benefit to my loved ones? Life insurance. So we protect human capital with life insurance. But what do we do on the flip side? See, many agents are focused only on that, and they never look at the other side. See, if you have a health insurance license, you can use Medicare to protect financial capital, to correct and make sure that there's not a financial ruin because of an unknown or unpredictable or an expensive health insurance event, right? Or health event. You can also use your life insurance license to protect financial capital. And see, eventually what we do is we trade our human capital for financial capital. And at some point of intersection, we can retire. And it's different for everyone. Some people never retire, essentially. I met an 81-year-old who was working at a cheese factory in Caldwell, Idaho, years and years ago. All he had was his human capital, but he was getting a pension, working, and collecting Social Security. But he wanted life insurance because he knew the second he died, he had to take care of his spouse. And I've known people like my father-in-law who worked at Boeing for 40 years on the dot. And he earned a pension and a 401k, and eventually his human capital had dwindled. He wanted to retire, but we had to protect his financial capital. And we protect financial capital with annuities, specifically fixed index annuities. So you need to use all your license. If there's one message I want you to understand is this teaches you, and the system that Premier has set up will help you and provide all the back-end services and the front-end tools that you need to unlock all your potential. Because let's face it, Brad, this is a high turnover industry. The reason usually is people are bad at being self-employed. But another reason is because people get siloed and they don't use all of their license and they don't maximize their ability to help clients and to make money. See, the hardest thing in this industry is getting in front of someone and having them listen. Once they do, once you have that, you can provide a myriad of services. So don't pigeonhole yourself. I'll give you one last analogy. Brad, if I was coaching a football team and they said, hey, we're going to give you the best offensive line and the best running back and the best quarterback for running the ball, but there's one condition, one caveat. You must not pass the ball. You have to just run the ball. You know how many games I'm going to win, right? I know Nebraska won a couple national championships running the ball primarily, but they still relied on the pass. It still set up the pass. You would win very few games. That's why you're going to struggle. You could potentially be unsuccessful if you only focus on one thing. So this is all about getting you to focus and expanding on all of what your license can do to optimize and maximize the protection, the complete protection you can provide for your clients. So there's two things we're going to stress in this. First, fixed index annuities, right? The LARC, Life and Annuity Resource Center, is life insurance and annuities. Let's start with annuities, specifically FIAs. And if there's two slides I want you to memorize, you can get a copy of this from Brad. These things hold up no matter who you speak with, right? I've got this securities license. I've got all these designations. I've learned everything. Why? Because I had low self-confidence. I hated selling fixed index annuities because I felt that when I went into that home, they had some sort of smart financial advisor with alphabet soup behind their name that made them smarter than me, and that they would have some sort of product that would make my fixed index annuity laughable. But when it comes to these three things that I'm about to show you, I have learned no CEF, no ETF, no mutual fund, no derivative, no option, no put, no call, nothing, no buffered note, nothing can compare to the fixed index annuity when it comes to these three things. Number one, eliminate market loss. See, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, as I sit down with you today at 65 years old, whatever it is, when their mind is now shifting from human capital to financial capital, we're going to be able to eliminate market loss. See, you'll never lose money in the market again. Any money that you put into an FIA, whether you're watching CNN or Fox News and you see what's going on right now, Brad, right? We had a calamitous Monday. The market went down like 3 or 4%. They had a bad week last week. The Japanese markets went down even worse because they raised the rate to like 0.25. The unemployment numbers came in terrible. Oh my goodness, all of a sudden the recession is right there and we're scared again. You will sleep well at night, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, because any money you put in there is completely protected, right? So whether it's a recession, it's another pandemic, it's a tsunami taking out California, it's another terrorist attack in New York, war in Europe, war in the Middle East, you will never have to worry about it. I tell you what, y'all, that is hugely, hugely powerful, especially when you are viscerally explain it to your clients. Number two, participate in market gains. See, FIAs are not exclusive. The first benefit I mentioned can be accomplished through U.S. Treasury bonds, money market accounts, CDs. They're not the only thing out there that can prevent market loss. But unlike those other products, they have higher earning potential. Because see, here's what happens. When the index goes up, when the S&P goes up, when the market goes up, you participate in those gains. And I want to be very clear, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you're not going to get all the gains. You're not going to beat the market, right? When something's too good to be true, it's not true. What I'm showing you is that you will participate in the market. So if the market goes up 22% and you got 11, tell me the last time you saw a CD or a money market account or a treasury bond that got 11%. So your money is totally protected, but it has the highest upside potential when it comes to other risk-free investments. And then finally, number three, creating a paycheck for life. See, this isn't your granddad's annuity. These are much smarter built, much more contemporary, sophisticated annuities, the fixed index annuity of today. But it's still an annuity. And only annuities have mortality credits, and only annuities over all financial products can create a guaranteed paycheck for life for you, your spouse, your children, however you want to divide it up. So, Mr. Smith, if any of these three things are of benefit to you, or all of them, then we should consider looking at a fixed index annuity. See, memorize this slide and you're going to have great confidence with fixed index annuities. Same thing for whole life. Now, I will interchange whole life and IUL because IUL is just a form of whole life. It is, and we have a training on this, Brad, so we'll get to that next week. But it is a more intelligent form of whole life in some ways, and I'll explain that more. But when you hear whole life, think IUL because that's primarily what we're going to write. But see, whole life insurance is a financial asset. It's not an investment. You see all these TikTok videos out there where people are touting IULs is better than the stock market. The stock market is gambling and IULs are the way to go and they're the best things in sliced bread. Stop doing that. If you ever cash out someone's 401k and put it into an IUL, not only are you making a poor financial decision, but you're going to hell. And no one wants to go to hell, so don't do it. You don't need to. See, whole life insurance is a financial asset. It's not an investment. And here's the cool thing about it. Unlike investments, certain financial assets like IULs, like whole life, have benefits like guarantees. See, they give you guarantees in retirement. A whole life insurance can have guarantees. It can have a guaranteed death benefit. It can have guaranteed premiums, level premiums, and it can have guaranteed cash values. Secondly, tax-free cash and tax-free death benefit. Now, all life insurance policies pay out tax-free. That's one of the few IRS blessings that is still allowed. That's one of the things that makes life insurance so superior to almost everything else, with maybe the exception being a Roth IRA, all right? Meaning that it can also pay tax-free. But life insurance pays tax-free and it gives you access to tax-free cash. Now, notice something here, Brad. I'm not saying put $5,000, put $10,000 in a month or a year at 65, and at age 70, you can retire and ride off in the sunset, never paying taxes again. See, that's trying to defy math and physics, and neither of those things are defiable. We don't have to tout this as guaranteed lifetime income and you can live off of it and never pay taxes. Because the reality is many people that you sit down with, they aren't going to be able to build up that ramp. That's for the 20 and 30 and maybe 40-year-olds to build up so much cash arbitrage that they can live off it tax-free. But it doesn't diminish the fact that life insurance, whole life insurance, IULs, can build up cash. And when you access that cash, it can be done tax-free. And no matter what, when you die, you're going to pass it on tax-free. Number three, benefits to offset healthcare and long-term care costs. Brad, this is an epidemic in our country. We're going to talk about this in another slide, but the vast majority of 65-year-olds you sit down with are going to need long-term care, and 5% or less own long-term care. Now, I want to be really, really clear. I'm going to say this twice. Life insurance is not long-term care insurance. Life insurance is not long-term care insurance. However, it does have benefits that can offset and provide similar benefits through something called a living benefit, right? That's being able to access the death benefit before you die while you're living if you can't perform 2 of 6 activities of daily living. And some people might say that this indemnification plan is even better because it's more flexible. That's to be decided based on a client-to-client basis. My point is this: you memorize these 3 things, whether it's for FIAs or for IULs, and you have taken out more value from this presentation than you could possibly need to go sell both. But wait, there's more. Let's talk about how this works. Let's go through 2 scenarios and then we're going to open up for questions. Let's talk about Bridget. Now, Bridget's 65 years old. We have a training, Brad, called How to Use the Financial Inventory or the Confidential Needs Analysis, the CNA, to unlock multiple sales opportunities. And I'm excited to give that to you. I think it's in 2 weeks we do that, Brad. I think that one's in 2 weeks. And it's a nice quick one and it's powerful. But using that confidential needs analysis, we discovered that Bridget, when we sat down with her, has a $225,000 IRA and she wants to retire by 70. She's also concerned about living too long and losing money in the stock market. So here it is. Here's that confidential needs analysis. In that, I'm teaching you my one question, the golden question sales system. So it's a single question that can unlock these sales for annuities life insurance. And that question is this: do you have anything that acts like life insurance? So part of what we do, and this is downloadable at the Life and Annuity Resource Center, Brad can send you the link, is we ask them if they have any current life insurance. And I will have a training that we talk about this more in 2 weeks. But in there, we ask the subsequent question, which is the golden question: do you have anything that acts like life insurance? Now, why is it the golden question? It's the golden question because whether they answer yes or whether they answer no, it's a good question. It's a good answer. We can help them. But in this scenario, let's say Bridget answers yes. Yes, I do. I have an IRA. Now, a couple of things. I'm just going to vaguely ask Bridget, in rough numbers, how much money is in there? How much money would be passed over to your loved ones tax-free, right? See, because I ask it like this: Bridget, do you have any life insurance? Yes or no? Then, Bridget, do you have anything that acts like life insurance, such as a 401k, an IRA, an annuity? Something, are you self-insured? Something that's going to pass to your loved ones probate-free. Now, here's the powerful thing about this golden question. See, I've seen a lot of bad financial inventories. I've seen financial inventories. I've seen fact finders, Brad, that are 6 pages long. Oh my goodness. Who wants to stick to that? Who wants to answer that? No one, right? We also have a problem. I've seen financial inventories. I've seen fact finders where, Brad, if I was talking to you or if I was talking to Bridget and I said, hey, Brad, tell me your name, your date of birth, your height, weight, your medications, your social, your driver's license, and I'm there for a Medicare appointment, Brad, you're going to answer all of those questions. Why? Because you know that's why I'm there. You know that's the information I need. But what if I shift on you and I say, Brad, do you have a 401k? Whoa, all of a sudden your antenna go up and you're saying, why are you asking about my 401k? How is that 401k performed? Are you happy with the performance, right? See, there's 3 problems there. One, as an agent, I'm not very comfortable asking it. As a client, Brad, you're not very comfortable answering it. And third, we're starting to blur the line where you would need a securities license. When you start asking about specific stocks, mutual funds, bonds, investments, and how they have performed, you're not licensed to do that. So we ask the golden question: Brad, do you have anything that acts like life insurance, such as a 401k, an IRA, an annuity, something that's going to go probate free over to your loved ones when you die? Meaning, are you self-insured? And see, here's the funny thing about that, Brad. People want to answer yes. They want to answer yes. See, being self-insured has a little bit of sex appeal to it. See, I remember when I asked someone who if they had an investment property. Now, they lived in a duplex and they rented out the other side, and they were somewhere in that dirt broke range, right? Yet they were so proud to be able to say, yep, I have investment property, right? They felt they were Donald Trump. They thought they were a real estate mogul. You're going to get the same sort of reaction when you ask people if they're self-insured, and you're confident, they're confident, and you're not blurring the line of needing a securities license. So what I want you to do is this: make sure you don't stop your presentation. We are not there to assist someone with a Medicare supplement or Medicare Advantage plan. And then the second they say, yes, I have a $225,000 annuity that I can use to self-insure, we don't derail the whole thing and start selling an annuity. There's multiple reasons why. One of them is that if it's a Med Advantage plan, I think, Brad, there's some laws or rules that you can't tidal wave sale. You can't do that. We're just asking questions. We're logging it away. We can come back after annual enrollment. We can come back the next week. It doesn't matter. But I want to give you a segue question. See, I call them segue questions. You ask the golden question, then depending on the answer, you ask a follow-up question. So now, when I'm done concluding the business that I'm there to conduct, I'm going to look at my clock and I'm going to say, Brad, I don't have much time. Bridget, I don't have much time, but let me ask you one more quick question before I go. You said you had about $225,000 in an IRA, that you were self-insured. Let me ask you this, Bridget. Is that money protected? Now listen, if you've done a good job, if you have been professional but not become their best friend, establish some rapport, they're going to say, you know what? and this is intentionally a bit ambiguous. It's intentionally, it's not misleading, it's ambiguous. They're going to say, Sean, I don't know what you mean, but I'm interested. All right, great. Let me explain this to you very, very quickly. And then really, I do have to go. All right. See, we don't want to have to take out our laptop and guess which carrier we're going to use and wonder if we're contracted and figure out our login and decide which product and how to run the illustrations, right? You get anxious just hearing it. I get anxious saying it. We simply want to do this. Hey, Bridget, we're one of the nation's leading providers of retirement protection plans, which is true because we're part of Premier, or we're part of, well, Premier's big, but we're part of Integrity. We're one of the leading providers of retirement protection plans, Bridget, coast to coast. We use something called a fixed index annuity or an FIA. Now, I know what you're saying, an annuity, but this isn't your granddad's annuity. This is a much more contemporary, smartly built annuity that does three things better than any other financial product. And then we walk them through. Eliminate market loss. You'll sleep well at night. Participate in market gains. It has higher earning potential than other risk-free investments. It's not going to beat the market, Bridget, but when you never participate in the gains and any gain that you do get is locked in and you have the potential for double-digit gains, because let's face it, what happens every 3 or 4 years? The US stock market goes bonkers and you get to participate that. And then third, even though it's not your granddad's annuity, it's still an annuity, and only annuities have mortality credits, which allow you to guarantee a paycheck for life for you, your spouse, your children, however you want to divide it up. See how I presented that? Those three items, I said, you got to learn them, you got to memorize them. That's got to be your elevator pitch. I present them to Bridget, and I say, Bridget, if any of these three things are of interest or all of them, then what I'd like to do is I'd like to schedule another meeting, same time next Tuesday. See? I didn't have to be late for my next appointment. I didn't have to open up my laptop. I didn't have to figure out the carrier, if I'm contracted, how to run the illustrations, what product to write. None of it. Premier's got your back. Premier takes care of it with the Life and Annuity Resource Center. So what I do is I go to the LARC and I click on the tile that says Ask a Specialist. And it's going to pop up a secure SSL encrypted form that doesn't take any sensitive information, and it's going to walk you through. And some of the questions you might not know. Again, in 2 weeks, we're going to do a great training on how to use the financial inventory, what we call the confidential needs analysis, to gather sales opportunities. It is almost unlimited. It is so powerful using this one question sales system, right? But now I'm going to fill out as much as I have, and I'm securely going to submit it over to the Ask a Specialist. So that's going to go to Premier's back office team. And Brad, you all have one of the best in the industry. You got 2 on the annuity, 2 on the life. You got some advanced market help. You got the back end of Brokers International. You got the back end of me, right? We're going to figure out the best product and plan. And then we're going to make sure that you're contracted. We're going to get you the product, the illustrations, a narrative, some videos you can watch. And we're also going to make sure that this is stored so you're compliant. Because there is now something called the best interest rule, which is passed in 45 or 50 states. 4 more states are pending passing it. And one state, New York, already has a rule that basically upholds people to the same rule. So all this stuff is going to be securely encrypted and stored on the cloud. So if ever anything negative happened or the client turned on you, you can point to that. You can reach out to Premier and say, hey, I need you to bring up all the correspondence, and they're going to show you everything. And there's securities licensed people, people with life insurance license, people with designations who have documented why the product they sent to you is the best interest for that client. And all you have to do is submit it. You don't have to do anything, you just submit it. Now they're going to come back with a response. They're going to come back with a response. I'm going to show you what they chose. Now, don't get too worried about this product. I want you to understand this high level. This is the Fidelity and Guarantee Performance Pro. Give me a quick second. Performance Pro, one of the best products, one of the best FIAs in the industry. It has a 15% bonus up front and then an 8% S&P cap right now. So you get all of the first 8% in the market. And if the market goes down, you lose nothing in the S&P. So let's say, and we're going to start with the guaranteed rates. Mr. and Smith, or I should get to Bridget because that's what we're presenting to. Bridget, If you took your $225,000 and put it into the Performance Pro, we're immediately going to credit you a cash bonus of 15%. So now it's worth 258. By state law, I have to show you the guarantees. The guarantee is you'll never lose money. Now, Bridget, I want to ask you something. Do you think the market's going to go down every month, every year for the rest of your life? I don't. So we're probably wasting our time. But if it did, if ISIS took over the world and the markets went down every month for every year for the next 3 decades, you picked a great product. Because if you want to retire by 70, even though it got 0%, you could take out nearly $14,000 a year. And no matter how long you lived, it would continue to pay you, guaranteed, and you would never be able to, you would never sustain a loss in your account. So even though the market's going negative, the worst you get is 0. But I don't want to waste your time or mine. None of us think that the market's going to go down every month, every year for the rest of your life. So let's look at the statistics. Let's look at the past 20 years and say, what if, right? Well, if we chose the same product, we're going to get that 15% bonus. But now you can see that, oh, every 2 out of 3 years, the market went up, we get 8%. But when the market goes down, we lose nothing. Now at age 70, you start taking your money out. And you see what happens? You're now taking out over 17,000. And then at age 77, Brad, do you see how that money goes from 17 to 20? How did that happen? It happened because unlike other annuities, right, where you give all your premium and you get just the payments back, a fixed index annuity is giving you a guaranteed withdrawal for only 10 basis points on Performance Pro. It's the cheapest income rider I've ever seen. It's a phenomenal product. So for 10 basis points, even though you're getting a guaranteed withdrawal, your principal is still growing. And if it grows high enough, if the market does well enough, you'll actually get a raise in retirement. So now let's say you live to 95, Bridget. Now that $225,000, you took out almost $500,000, and you still have a death benefit of $236,000, which you could use, you could access for, you could access for long-term care, end-of-life healthcare needs. You could go on the vacation of your lifetime. You could buy a jet. You do whatever you want, right? Or you can pass it on to your loved ones, avoiding probate. And by the way, Premier pays very well to their agents based on the lowest compensation level that you'll have. You just got paid $12,000. That's not a typo. When's the last time a Medicare supplement? I mean, Brad, it would probably take 20 or 30 plans to get $12,000 commission. Now, those plans are awesome. You want to keep plugging away with the Medicare, but this is how you double your income. By adding the golden question, by using the Life and Annuity Resource Center, the LARC resources that Premier has set up, you're going to go out and have the ability to effectively help people and help yourself. Let's do one more scenario. This is Tom. Tom is 65. Now, he has type 2 diabetes. He's modestly overweight. But Tom's wife is 2 years younger. She's extremely healthy. When we asked the golden question, we found that Tom had nothing that acted like retirement. Tom was not self-insured. That's why he probably looks so dour in this picture, right? By the way, Tom's Social Security is $2,000 a month. His wife's is $600 a month. And he is concerned about losing that spousal income. He knows he's going to not live as long as his wife. He's concerned about the unknown long-term care and healthcare costs and covering end-of-life expenses, and maybe even passing on money to their 2 kids. So let's look at this again. When we get to this section of the financial needs analysis or the confidential needs analysis, the CNA, we're going to ask that golden question again. Tom, do you have anything that acts like life insurance? Meaning, are you self-insured? Do you have an IRA, a 401k, an annuity, something that's going to go probate-free to your loved ones you need done? Now, Tom's answer is no. Now, I want to stress this. Have empathy, right? Tom, I understand, right? Pensions have all but disappeared. Defined contribution plans have become very difficult. The cost of living and inflation has increased and soared so much. You're not alone, Tom. But the good news is we could possibly help. Tom, have you considered, see, this is the segue question. If they say no, see, it's yes or no. That's why it's the golden question. If he says no, I say, Tom, have you considered an IUL to supplement your retirement? And again, this is intentionally ambiguous, not misleading. If you've done a good job of building rapport, but being professional and not becoming their best friend, they're going to give you an honest answer like, John, I don't know what you're talking about. No problem. Tom, what I'd like to do is talk to you really quick about how an IUL can protect or supplement your retirement. See, IULs are a form of whole life insurance and they're financial assets. They're not investments, but they provide guarantees in retirement, right? And we talked to them about that. They allow you to have tax-free death benefits to your spouse and tax-free cash that you can withdraw when needed. And we talk about that. And they have benefits that even though they're not long-term care insurance, and I want to be very clear on that, they have benefits to offset health care and long-term care costs, something called living benefit. So any of these three things, if they're of importance to you, if they feel like they're of value to you, or if all of them are, then let's set up another appointment next week, same time. So Tuesday at 8 a.m., right? You see how awesome that is? We didn't have to know the carrier, the product, the illustrations, the login, the contract, none of it. We just asked this. And do you think Tom, be honest, do you think Tom's gonna be like, I have no interest in learning about that? Absolutely not. If you've done your job, then Tom's gonna wanna say yes. We go to the Ask a Specialist. Premier set this up. You go to the LARC, the Life Annuity Resource Center. You click on the Ask a Specialist. This time you click on the Life tab or the IUL tab. You fill out the information, you hit submit. It is securely and encrypted, stored, and sent over. The group of experts that they have at Premier, backed by Brokers International, now come back and they say, hey, here's the deal. His wife is currently making $600 a month in Social Security. While we have that money, let's put, half of it, a little less than half of it, into a Mutual of Omaha IUL Express. Fantastic product. I think, Brad, we're going to get Brad Coffin from Mutual of Omaha doing a presentation on that for your clients here, or for your agents here in a couple weeks. But this is going to have a $100,000 death benefit that's actually guaranteed to age 80. And we're going to show them that by age 85, let's say Tom squeaks out to age 85, he would put a grand total of $60,000 in it, but he would get a $100,000 death benefit. And I'm only looking at the mid scale, right? I'm not even going with the most likely scenario. I'm going with the mid scale. The market barely went up. It went up half the time at a 3.75% rate. And at the mid scale, I still have $33,000 of cash inside a $100,000 tax-free death benefit. Now, again, what can that be used for? It can be used for accessing cash for emergencies. It can be used for taking living benefits, taking some of the death benefit for paying for long-term care or end-of-life care, or, and probably most importantly, it can be used to replace the income lost. Because here's the deal. When Tom dies, his wife, who is younger and healthier, will have, she gets to keep the higher of the two. She gets to keep the $2,000 a month. But what they don't tell you is that she loses the $600 a month. Well, she just made up 13 years of income, 13 years of income tax-free, because Tom cared, right? Because she cared. And here you go, for pennies on the dollar, they're able to give a tax-free death benefit that has multiple options and facets to protect them leading up to Tom's death. And then when he dies, he's going to pass money over tax-free and offset up to 13 years of lost income. So she does not have to change her lifestyle. So she does not have to go into poverty. And by the way, you're rewarded with a $3,000 commission. So here are the steps. We're going to wrap it up and open it up for questions. To double your income, here's what you need to do. First, go to the LARC, the Life and Annuity Resource Center. Brad can show you where it's at, and download the financial inventory. Second, ask that golden question every time, no matter who you're sitting down with. If they feel like they're in a hurry, if they're cantankerous, you do your job. Do not put yourself first. Put the client first. Put your family first. Put yourself in a distant third, and have the humility and the discipline to ask that golden question every single time. You will be surprised at who needs help and who will say yes. Third, Submit all scenarios to the Life and Annuity Resource Center. Don't try to do this alone. This costs you nothing. This is a free benefit that you get by using Premier. And go to the LARC and submit all your scenarios. And if you do those three things, here's what's going to happen. Your goal is to write one annuity per quarter and one IUL per month. Now, why more IULs? Because when you ask the golden question, more people say no than yes. That's just the clientele that we deal with. So do those things and you will double your income over the next 12 months. I promise you. All right, Brad, let's go ahead and open it up for questions. I can even stop sharing my screen and I think we're kind of back on time here, so we can wrap this up within an hour pretty easily because it's already 8:50, so we have 10 minutes for Q&A, Brad.
Yeah, you did perfect. Thanks, Sean. That was a great presentation. I love it. Let me get the questions open here real quick. And let's see. Just got to get it open a little bit bigger here so I can read it. Getting old. So where can I find the CNA? Cannot find it. So the LARC, Life Annuity Resource Center, is actually behind our agent portal. So when you log into our agent portal, you're going to see the blue buttons on the page there, and it says Annuity Resource Center. We just updated it with the life portion of it here recently, so we still need to get that changed on our website. But yeah, it's just right there. You just click on the Annuity Resource Center. It'll launch the site that Sean showed there, and it'll be right there for you to download. So it's really easy to get at. So let's see. Leanna, thank you for the compliment. She said it was a great presentation. Sean always does a great job for us. It always is very useful in the field. Everything Sean says, I feel, is, well, not everything, but most everything Sean says is very useful in the field. We can apply it to our appointments almost immediately, so it's always great information. Katie asked if you can repeat what you said about this is your granddad's annuity.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Katie, and I'm not blowing smoke, but that's a fantastic question. The number one thing we battle when we're selling annuities is ignorance. So go ahead, go into Google or talk to Gemini, right? And ask, what is an annuity? When you do that, or even what is a fixed index annuity? When you do that, it is bringing up a very archaic explanation of annuity. It says an annuity is when you put premium and then receive lifetime income. See, a lot of the clients you sit down with, 65 and above, they have an archaic understanding of what annuity is, and it's ignorant understanding. They think, oh yeah, annuities are great, but if I die too early, I lose all the money. That's not true. That's not how we even set up annuities. And what they're referring to most of the times, right, is a SPIA, a single premium income annuity. It goes back to like the Roman tontines. Did you know that of the $215 billion of annuities sold just the first half of this year, less than 4% of them were SPIAs? See, we're trying to present the idea. We're trying to get ahead of the argument that annuities are bad because we have Ken Fisher, because we have ignorance, because we have an antiquated understanding of what annuities are. So when I say this is your granddad's annuity, it's just kind of a friendly way, a folksy way of saying, you know, this is not the annuity you're thinking of. And here's a silly analogy. I did everything I could to buy this piece of crud, 1972 Camaro LT. I'm trying to remember. It's a Camaro LT. It's black with rust, and it had a 350 horsepower, or had a 350 engine, right? A Chevy 350 with quadrajet intakes. Brad, it threw 208. We put it on a dyno. It threw 282 horsepower to the rear wheels. Like, woohoo! You know, very cool. Quadrajet V8, dual exhaust. My wife once bought a 4-cylinder Volvo, right? Getting 30 something miles a gallon with a turbo and supercharger. and it had 316 horsepower. Probably beat my old Camaro when I was in high school in a 0 to 60 race, right? Beat it in a quarter mile. It's actually a question on the CFP exam that the newer the financial products, the better they perform. There's an evolution to all of this. So I'm giving you a really big answer, but I want you to understand, I believe in pouring into agents, giving them all my knowledge, and they can decipher what makes sense. But it's not like granddad's annuity, because most people think that annuities are just a gamble. Put in money, hope you live long enough. If not, you're screwed. That's not how they work. And most of us write fixed index annuities, which I even showed you on that Performance Pro. The principal is still accumulating up to an 8% cap, even while you're taking money out. So you could stop taking income, recover principal. You could take chunks of principal out if you needed to. It's a lot more flexible, but it's still an annuity, and only annuities have mortality credits, which means only annuities can offer guaranteed lifetime income. So long explanation, but hopefully that helps answer that, because it was a great question.
Perfect. Thanks, Sean. Let me see here if we have any other questions before we wrap up. Let's see. Looks like that's it for the questions for today. So
Awesome.
we did record the webinar. So we will definitely be able to share that with you as well. Want to encourage everybody to reach out to Kathy or Kelly on the life team, on the annuity team. It would be Shad or Shay, to ask any questions that you may have about Lark, and also to dive into anything that you're working on today, or just simply to review the conversation that took place here today. So Sean, as always, it's a pleasure. You did a great job. Thanks for making it real for everybody. We appreciate all you do for us, and we're grateful to be your partner.
Yeah, well, Brad, thank you. Without the agents on this call, you wouldn't have a job, I wouldn't have a job. So that's set with a true heartfelt appreciation. If you need anything, reach out to me. Look forward to, I think we have a couple more webinars, and we're going to go into some detail, get you armed, prepared, and ready. So when you're in annual enrollment, you can ask the questions, and then worst case, you can ask them Q1 of next year and come back. And I'm going to show you how to dissect that, and that's how we're going to double that income. So thank you, Brad. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.